So apparently there was a birthday party at the bear house when the kids in horror watched the bear scooping ducklings in there. And so I don't know. But what is the pet owners versus parents? This is on Channel 7 last night.
Oh, around various communities in the Northwest, there's a showdown between dog owners and non-dog owners and where those pups are able to roam freely in neighborhoods.
This is an ongoing issue in our area. Dogs running off leash in areas that are supposed to be dog free. As it stands now, this is only allowed in specific off leash parks. Karen 7's Bridget Chavez is live from Gilman Park.
I'm just going to say this.
The dogs are probably doing their duty on like soccer fields and stuff.
Yeah, don't be that guy. It makes it hard for the rest of us. Don't go to a non-labeled off park and make it an off-leash dog park unless your dog has been so well trained that it can respond to your vocal orders instantly. Don't do it. Some dogs, I agree. Some kids aren't good with dogs, and it's not tattooed on the forehead. And some dogs are not good with kids. So why be the sorting hat of stupidity on that one? And so anyway. It just takes dog parks away from us, the good guys, and stuff. And I don't know what to say. There is in places there is a budding. It probably needs an app. There's those people who will take a school bus and gut it, take the seats out, put carpet or astroturf in there, and they'll drive a bus route and they'll pick up your dog and take it to an off-leash park. And there's a great YouTube video of some guy in Alaska who has a school bus, and he literally pulls up to people's houses. The dogs are sitting on the front step. He opens the door. They jump on the bus, and they get into an empty seat. It's adorable. I mean, I would do it. My God. Yeah, don't make me release my canine on that one. And so, but, I mean, you understand, just because it's Lincoln Park in West Seattle doesn't mean your dog gets to go off leash. Oh, no, he's fine. I don't know that, but he's running at me and he's barking. He's looking aggressive. So, why'd this stop? For some reason, it stopped. What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Well, we'll just check your little story right here. Well, anyway, so there was a public safety forum, and
thank all of you for being here.
Sitting together inside Garfield High School, parents, police officers, firefighters, and other city representatives put pen to paper to discuss how the community can work together to create a safer Seattle.
This one to me just feels like it's more solution-based, which I like, and collaborative.
And you know what? I'm really solution-based. It's called a leash, okay? Get your dog leash trained first, all right? Bring treats. Bring a reason for the dog to listen to you. And because believe me, I know all the workarounds for a park where your dog wants to go off leash. First of all, don't go there. Don't get the dog used to it. But if you do, go during school hours so there aren't kids. Because I fully get it. I fully get why some people are afraid to have dogs near their pets. We had and then the poor kids at Woodland Park aren't scarred by the bear and all this. I had my dog Buddy. I used to live in West Seattle, and we went to Lincoln Park and made it a de facto off-leash dog park because Buddy and Newman were absolutely 100% vocal control. And this one time, there was a Pacific Northwest gray squirrel, the kind with the pointy devil ears, and they were vexing to Buddy. And one of them was treed up a cherry tree in Lincoln Park. And it didn't know how physics work, and it tried jumping from a small branch onto a bigger tree, and it fell right into Buddy's gaping maw in front of kids. And not all kids think that's funny. Now, that's a sight gag that goes back 80,000 years, since the domestication of the dog. When one caveman said to another, you see squirrel jump right into my dog mouth. And anyway, it's been hilarious ever since. So last night, it wasn't SWAT, and MSNBC reporter apparently misidentified. She said a flashbang was deployed. I'm sorry, it's a private It's an elite private university. They're not going to be throwing flashbangs in Hamilton Hall.
Second thing.
He wouldn't appreciate that. But it went like this.
Now unfold. What we're witnessing here, Mr. Speaker, is an extremely dangerous police.
And this was Republican Speaker of the House, John Johnson, calling into Hannity last night, and them watching this happen, unfolding, as if it was like the fall of Saigon or something.
Operation. They are now trying to get into the building. I believe that has to be Hamilton Hall that was taken over by students last night. And you can see they're outside one of the windows to the building. They have no idea what they're facing on the other side of this. And
they drove up a NYPD truck, and it was like a state roofing truck with the long treadmill. And they're all at the end of the ladder or whatever. And this is with the permission and the insistence of Columbia University, who said, get those hippies back. So they made it 24 hours. And NYPD gets in there, and they PD'd them.
And again, I go back to the reality is that none of these students will end up getting punished. Maybe the worst case scenario, based on what the president of Columbia has said, maybe a suspension. On a lot of these college campuses, Mr. Speaker, God forbid you use the wrong well, the police now have entered the building.
And so this is the DeSantis rule, the one he announced last week about we are not a daycare. And University of Florida used that exact phrase in their release when the Florida State Patrol started doing their various pickups with one hand and all that. They said, this is not a daycare. We are over you. And the whole thing. The whole run. Trump called in to Hannity a couple hours later, and I got to say, this is an own goal. This is a campaign shooting themselves in the foot. The Biden campaign has got to be saying, which one of you idiots told us not to come down hard on this? Because now Trump has it, and it makes us look like 1968. Now Trump gets to be law and order, and he gets to blame my Gaza squishiness on my campaign.
Well, I really think you have a lot of paid agitators, professional agitators in here, too, and I see it all over. And, when you see signs and they're all identical, that means they're being paid by a source.
Ding, 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 ding.
These aren't hand-painted signs where people would go to their basement and paint something because they really believed it. These are all signs that are identical. They're made by the same printer. And, when you see that, that means there's somebody at top that's paying or a group that's paying, and they're doing great.
So he's getting good information on that one, and he's reacting to the video that they had in New York around 6 p.m. Pacific time last night during Hannity's show. And so is this thing, am I on thing 3 now?
Third thing.
How could I bury the lead? Your zebra has jumped the shark if an old-timey guy is playing the saw with a made-up song.
Line got broke, monkey got choked, there's a zebra in the woods and it ain't no joke.
So that's how we're going to deliver the news that the zebra is still loose in the Snoqualmie Valley. From the majestic Rattlesnake Lake down to the less majestic Rattlesnake Ridge, it's being caught on trail cams all over the place, and they don't know what to do because zebras not indigenous to the Pacific Northwest.
There's a zebra in the woods, and it ain't no joke.
In a few, lost zebras has become North Bend folklore.
There was a little zebra. His name was Jack.
With carpenter saw and mallet, local musician Bob Antone composed a quirky song.
We're going to see merch.
That's a word. Anyway. Yeah, that's really quirky, too. It's amazingly quirky. So
there's only one person we could put on this case.
Alrighty then.
Black and white in solidarity. If I'd had, the opportunity to buy zebra pumps, I would have been wearing them today.
What is happening? Oh my God.
Video shows 4 pinstripe.
So, I mean, here's the thing. It's not like a loose grizzly. This is not next year yet. But anyway, I am curious how long. I mean, water is ample, and it's probably trying out everything, and it's finding out there's a lot of the Northwest it can eat so far. Not a lot of poison plants that are indigenous are up there, and I don't know how you would. I mean, somebody has to put eyes on it. The other day, in that story about the guy that's made his own, the Arlington, the PBR guy. Someone got video of it on the Snoqualmie, the trail up there. There's the John Wayne Trail, which is from Rattlesnake Lake up over the mountains to Ellensburg, and it's actually got a name, but they lifted all the rails and ties from across the Kwame Pass railroad, and it's great. It's 20 feet wide and 200 miles long. It goes all the way to the Columbia River. If you ever want to do a real quick, a fairly easy multi-day hike, pack a day pack with jerky and rice and water and a little camp stove and start walking. And there's loads of areas where you can, if you take your dog, you can take an off leash because it's just national forest on both sides. Great little park. And so I would, if I was at a zebra, I would stay on the thing and go to Ellensburg and find some friends or something like that.
Are pet detectives a real thing?
It is today.
Okay.
Trotting dangerously close to the interstate this past Sunday. All were wrangled but one. A single male is still at large. He was last.
Even in the dark, if you hit a zebra, your lights were not on, de facto. On that one. Anyway, back to thing 5. Does the Secretary of Defense of the United States of America think that the F-35 at $100 million minimum apiece, even the Navy one, is nothing better than a paperweight? His answer may surprise you.
I don't.
Okay, so how many $100 million paperweights do we own?
I would not categorize the F-35 as a paperweight.
Well, if it's not mission capable, what do we just stare at it and admire it?
That's Congressman Matt Gaetz finally making a point. And I should point out, I think the reason the Secretary of Defense took a second to answer is because the Pentagon may have paperweights that cost $100 million. And he's wondering, well, what's he asking me? Is he still on the F-35?